What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Tottenham 4, Copenhagen 0. This is your match review. A great night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night. Obviously, I was there and I loved every second of it. It really was a fantastic performance from Spurs. Could have been a lot more than 4, and we'll get into all the brilliant gameplay and everything like that in this game.
No blaming the fans yesterday.
No blaming the fans yesterday. The fans did their job yesterday. I thought the fans were brilliant. And you've got to say, our best Champions League performance by some way this season, for sure.
This season, yeah, 100%. And nice to see Tottenham team with a bit of intent in them. You can see when they're getting the ball, the first thought was, how can we get this forward? Who's in space? It wasn't like the Chelsea game, where it's always like, how can we play this backwards? How can we get it back to Ricardo? It seemed that was like the first port of call. And really loved some lovely football. But yeah, obviously, you got to take into account the level of opposition and all that kind of stuff. But definitely the way we were set up and the way we attacked the game was a breath of fresh air for the season.
I mean, look, everyone's going to kind of use the level of opposition as a kind of stick to say, oh, it's not that impressive. Maybe you're not going in the right direction because you should be beating this team by this kind of scoreline. And look, which is true. We should be beating Copenhagen convincingly, and I fully expected us to beat them convincingly. But the way Spurs have been playing our football this season, we haven't really we've been able to beat teams convincingly in terms of a scoreline, but not really on the eye test kind of thing. Even like the Doncaster game, for example, like we beat them 3-0 that day, but we only had 3 big chances throughout the whole game. Like this game, compared to that, was completely different. Like we had eight big chances in the game. We could have scored about 10 goals literally yesterday. I think you really saw players that haven't been clicking start to click a little bit. Like Javi Simmons was the key example of that. I think he got the official man of the match, I think, yesterday, Javi Simmons. And
even though he went off on 59?
Yeah, and he looked really upset to go off, to be honest. He was like proper in the groove. But in the first half, I thought he was just pulling all the strings, man. There was like he laid 2 on a plate for Kolo Muani, didn't he? And Muani's got to be doing a bit better from his finishing. But that assist for Brennan Johnson, I thought was absolutely brilliant, kind of with that through ball on the outside. He was just everywhere, and his creativity was really on show yesterday. And it's like, I think it's like the first time we've really seen it on a consistent basis in the game.
I think the key to Xavi yesterday was just getting him on the ball more. And this is what I was saying beforehand, when we've been frustrated with some of his performances and maybe he's been a bit wasteful. But I think that by and large, when we've seen him in these other games, he's literally getting on the ball in and around the penalty area, maybe once, twice, 3 times a game. Like nowhere near enough. And this is a guy who likes to try things. He likes to try a flick. He likes to look for that looking for a pass to open up the opposition. He'll try different things. And when you're only getting it, the amount of times he was getting it, and you're not making things happen, it's going to look frustrating. But yesterday, it was completely different. I can't remember how many times he got the ball in the final third. And he was wasteful, but he was also pulling things off because he got it so often. And that was the big difference for me from Javi. Yes, he was looking more confident, but he was getting more touches of the ball in more dangerous areas, and that was the key for me.
Yeah, and I was speaking to a few people at half-time, right, about Javi. And I was like, at half-time, I was so happy with the level of performance that Javi had put in. He'd laid 2 on a plate, like I mentioned, for Muani. He got the assist for Brendan Johnson, and a high-quality assist at that as well. And then I'm still hearing, the people that I was speaking to, I was still hearing them being like, oh yeah, but he's still misplacing passes and all. I'm like, but if you keep trying things and you have that kind of quality, things are going to come off and things are going to pay off. And it already did in that game. 3 big chances created. Like, I was speaking to Brian before I came in today, and we were talking about Javi, and I said to him that Christian Eriksen, in his pomp for Tottenham Hotspur, when things used to just revolve around him and we used to click every time he was on the pitch, like even him, like with the high level of chances that he used to create, loads didn't come off for him because he's just consistently trying to create. And when you're in that position and you're that kind of player, you try so many things. Obviously, not everything's going to come off, because if everything comes off, you're going to have like 10 assists a game, you know what I mean? So I think for the level of chances that he created and what he was trying to do yesterday, I think it's a massive step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I agree, and it's about, for me, a lot of the stuff why he's been struggling is to do with the team more than him. I know he hasn't been good as well, but I think we've been asking him to basically have very minimal touches and create things with very little time and space on the ball. And yesterday was very different. We were finding him more and more often. He was linking, getting closer to other players as well. We're giving him more opportunities to create, and then it's no surprise, the more opportunities you give him, the more chance you're giving him of creating something. And also, the more confidence he's building. Okay, I thought for the first 10 minutes, he was maybe a bit wasteful, not things weren't coming off. But what happened was we just kept feeding him the ball, kept getting it to him in those dangerous areas. And then once a few things started coming off, then all of a sudden it started clicking. He started linking, and things were happening naturally off the cuff. He wasn't overthinking things. He was just, that assist right at the end of the half for Mwani. One touch, look up, bang, on a play. And that was a big difference we saw with Xavi. And you see when a lot of the best number 10s in the league. Look at Bruno. He's very wasteful when he's in that position. But what do? They just keep feeding him, because he's got the quality to make something happen if you feed him the ball enough.
It's just the nature of the beast. That's what it is. It's the nature. It's the nature of being a number 10. Like, you are going to waste chances. That's just the way it is. And but look, like I said, massive step in the right direction. I think we've got to persist with him in that position now. I think the tactical setup that Frank did really played into him, and you really started to see kind of the little pass and move, really intricate kind of passages of play yesterday, particularly like that one that Mwani really should have scored. I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but that was such a lovely move, wasn't it? With Sarr involved, Javi involved, Mwani involved, and just little passes around Odebear as well, like just passes around the back, quick pass and move, intricate style of play. It's just something that we've been missing, and it seems like yesterday. Look, I know that maybe Xavi got a helping hand with the way Copenhagen were a bit willing participants and did give him quite a bit of space on the pitch yesterday, and he was operating in quite, at some points he didn't have anyone around him, and he was able to strut his stuff. But those little passages of play is something that we've been missing all season. Yeah,
and I think there was evidence yesterday of those relationships building, the combinations building as well. And that was the most encouraging thing yesterday, because even in games we've won, even convincingly, those little things have been hard to come by, those little moments. And it's been a struggle for us to kind of build up from open play most of the time this season. So to see that happening in a Champions League game was really encouraging. The fact that Odebear, Mwani, Xavi all getting close to each other, Brennan running in behind, a doggy stretching the play, all those dynamics seemed to be in place yesterday, and that was really encouraging. Bentancur playing it between the lines, Sarr just a bundle of energy all around the pitch. All of a sudden, you can kind of see it all clicking, and you can see the vision of what we're trying to build. And yesterday was evidence. Yes, it's still even not perfect. Even yesterday, you saw Odebear and Xavi running into each other a few times. Like, those things still need to be ironed out and perfected. Yeah. But that was a massive step forward. I think that's the way I'd put it. I think turning point's the wrong word, but I'll say step forward is the right word to use.
I think that's the way that Thomas Frank kind of explained it after the game.
And I think he's spot on. Because I think turning point, I don't think you can say a win against Copenhagen is a turning point. Albeit, Brian said, is this Poch's Villa moment? I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. But I definitely see this was probably the first game I'm really seeing things getting put in place and started to click, and that's really, really good. Like I said, this is I compared it maybe to Poch's Everton moment. We had that game against Everton where it just started to click. We had an impressive win where we were pressing high, and it started to click in that game. And I think maybe this is a bit of evidence here of things in the attacking phase starting to click. And defensively, we were still pretty solid. We didn't give much away. It's not like we were open. Copenhagen had very little of the game. What I would say is obviously Copenhagen, they were physically just not a match for us. And that really surprised me. I really thought it was going to be a bit of a tighter game from that front. I think we bullied them. They really struggled to play any sort of football out the back. We were just catching them out time and time again. They were a lot poorer. Obviously, we made them look poor, so that goes into it, but they were definitely a lot poorer than I thought they would be. I thought they were going to give us a lot more of a challenge than they did. So that did surprise me a bit, especially their goalkeeper. You have to say the first two goals were massive errors from him, in my opinion. But you got to take advantage of it, and we did. You got to have the quality to do it. Brennan, that first goal is not an easy finish, and tight angle, he does it. Mwani, I think, has to show composure in that moment to bring it down out of the sky. Brilliant control, Berbatov-esque it was, I thought. And I think a lot of strikers in that position probably go for goal and try and tap it into the empty net, but he had to show a lot of composure to just bring it down, pass it to Odegaard, good goal. But I guess if you're being hyper harsh, on yesterday, you would say,
you would never be hyper harsh. You would never be hyper harsh.
Who's you? Me personally?
Yeah.
What were you trying to say? I am hyper harsh.
You would never be hyper harsh. Come on.
I'm just saying, if you are being hyper harsh, you would say, as for all the good play, it did take 2 goalkeeping mistakes against a poor team to score. But I think if you're watching the game overall, and when you're looking at the eye test, we could have scored numerous goals, even without those goalkeeping mistakes.
I think 4-0 completely flattered Copenhagen yesterday. It was one-way traffic. It was an absolute battering. It was an annihilation of a team, and I haven't seen an annihilation of a team coming to Tottenham for some time, So it was a welcome return to actually, just absolutely just wiping the floor with the team, man. It was so great to see. It really was. And the fans were brilliant yesterday. I thought a couple of things really kind of stood out for me. Obviously, that we've been speaking about on here for a while is Udogie on the left-hand side, being able to stretch that play and actually having a left foot on that left-hand side, making a real impact. And also, I thought Pape Sarr alongside Bentancur, where Bentancur I thought had a fantastic game, man. I thought Bentancur was brilliant,
What I don't understand is, obviously a lot of people are attributing it to maybe Paulinho not being there and Bentancur and Sarr being a pivot and making us more progressive. But I don't understand, why can Bentancur not do what he did yesterday with Paulinho next to him?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no real reason why not.
I'm not sure.
All of a sudden he's passing forward between the lines and he's like a progressive player. I'm like, and everyone's saying, oh, it's such a difference. And I was even saying it's such a difference, not having Paulinho and Bentancur together. And, on the face of it, we took Paulinho out the firing line and we changed the double pivot, and it did change. I think, obviously, we did play a lot more attacking football, but I don't understand why Bentancur can't do what he did yesterday with Paulinho next to him. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either, but, he played the number 6 role how we want it to be played. He was putting out fire. He was so aggressive in the middle of the park, and when he did get it, it was always forward thinking. I think this is, I said it before, I can't remember which game it was, but I said, this is Bentancur's best performance of the season, but I think this one tops the lot, to be honest. I thought he was just fantastic, dominated that midfield. Pape Sarr as well, I thought he was a bit of an enabler in that middle of the park where, he was getting involved in some of the good things that he was doing, but when he really came alive is after the red card for Brennan Johnson. After that red card, I thought he just became fantastic, man, really putting himself about. And once that red card was given, I thought it was really, you saw the Pape Sarr that we kind of fell in love with at the early stage of the season.
Yeah, and obviously he kind of moved to the right wing after that red card. And when you've got someone with his engine, especially when you're a man down and he can basically do the running for 2 players, he becomes its weight worth in gold in those situations, because it's almost as if we weren't down to 10 men when you have someone like Sarr with that running power, and he was absolutely incredible. And yeah, he had a really good game overall. I thought maybe he was one of the quieter players in general. I agree with you, but because he was doing a lot of running and just allowing the other players to do all the good work on the ball, and he just made sure whenever we lost the ball, he's on it like a flash and made sure we recovered the situation very quickly. And as you say, when we went down to 10 men, absolutely phenomenal.
But I think what maybe the biggest difference was having Romero back in the side, because Romero at right centre-back, for all the love that we give Kevin Danso, and he's done very well stepping in for Coutinho Romero, he just doesn't have what Coutinho Romero has. First of all, he's our captain, Romero, which goes without saying. But second of all, just the ball progression from the back. Always just playing it quickly into the midfield. He's just phenomenal. He is so phenomenal, Coutinho Romero. He was brilliant again yesterday. And he just starts attack for us from the back all the time. And it's just something Kevin Danso just can't do.
And there was also some great moments with Romero where Van de Ven lost the ball. And Romero's like, if you dare try and attack us, and he just went and whacked it a couple of times. It's like, you want to try and attack us? All right, Van de Ven's going to lose the ball, but I'm sure you'd rather Van de Ven kept the ball with how I'm going to go into you here. And it kind of sent a message to the Copenhagen attackers like, I'm onto you. Don't even try and think about attacking here, because even if you beat Van de Ven, I'm going to come into you. But yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. So good to have him back on the pitch. And it makes a difference. I think all the dynamics made, so I think everything, all the dynamics yesterday just worked. You got Rivera back in. You got that 3-2-5. Although Frank, after the game in a Spurs TV interview, said it was 3-2-5/3-1-6. Yeah. So, even there, he's maybe adding an extra player into that attacking build-up. Maybe I'm guessing Sarr with Bentancur sitting. So, maybe there's evidence of him trying to force the issue a bit more when we're facing teams who are looking to defend against us and putting another player a bit further forward in the build-up. But I think having a doggy out wide, having Odegaard and closer to Xavi, having Mawani with that bit more physicality to break in behind and make runs and hold up the ball, having Brennan stretching the play. And again, I said it before the game, not always looking down that right-hand side. Maybe, again, without Kudus there, we kind of spread the threat around. I don't know if that would have happened if Kudus was on the pitch as well. Probably would have, but I'm just saying, is there any coincidence? The last 2 games he hasn't started, we've looked a lot better going forward. I do wonder if that's a coincidence, or maybe it's just we're not always just focusing towards him, and that's a really encouraging thing. It's not even just forward as well. Great.
It's not even not just focusing down that right-hand side, but it's like what we mentioned in the preview. I think you asked the question, like, will it make the other players step up a little bit? And I think it did, because I think Odegaard was involved in a lot of the good things that we were doing yesterday. I think he was brilliant yesterday, Wilson Odegaard, and that carries on his kind of like forward progression in the Spurs shirt now. You're having good performances over the last couple of games from him, all the games that he started, and he finally got that goal as well, his first goal of the season. And Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side, I think the last couple of games he started, we're giving him some praise and him being able to hurt the opposition. So I think the forward line really worked well yesterday. Kolo Muani pressing from the front. I know he should have scored a couple of goals, but I think he had a decent display yesterday, Kolo Muani. So, I mean, everyone in that forward line really played their part yesterday, and it was great to see.
Yeah, and the most important thing is the relationships, the connection between that front four seems to be building, and you're seeing a little one-touches, little pass and move. That is the most crucial thing, because that is the hardest thing to build in an attacking setup. And they seem to be doing more things off instinct rather than just instruction, which is really, really important. And that was great. And when you compare the dynamics in this game compared to Saturday against Chelsea, it's just night and day. We had Spencer on the left, we had Paulinho Bentancur in the middle, we had you had kind of Xavi out on the left as well. You had Danso in defence. All those things switched up for this game. I understand lesser opposition, but all those things switched up, and you could just see the difference in how we were looking. And I think if we played similar to that against Chelsea, I'm not saying we definitely would have won, but at least the fans would have been a lot more on side with how we're playing and what we're trying to do. And I think yesterday, hopefully, we have to see that in the Premier League. Of course, we haven't seen it yet in the Premier League, that kind of performance, but I think yesterday that was a snapshot of how this team can look under this manager with all those dynamics in place. The only problem is with these dynamics, you're kind of reliant on a few things. You're kind of reliant on the doggy staying fit. You're relying on Romero staying fit. You're maybe relying on an opposition sitting off you a bit and all those kind of stuff. So obviously different games cause different challenges, but yesterday was really encouraging.
Another player who I was very happy with yesterday was Pedro Porro, because everything that he did wrong at Chelsea, and he put in a bit of a stinker against Chelsea, I think he put right in this game. And yes, I know, it's Copenhagen and Chelsea, 2 different very levels of opposition, but his passing was on point. The cross-field kind of long-distance ones were all on point. Laid 2 on a plate for Richarlison. I don't know how Richarlison's not doing more from his opportunities. So Pedro Porro became a real threat and danger from an attacking perspective, which we haven't seen much of this season, which is the reality. So it was good to see Pedro Porro back on form.
Yeah, and tried his best, didn't he, to get Scarlett a goal late on, and it was really unlucky. But yeah, he had a much better game, and I think it suits him playing in this little back three, pick your moments to go forward kind of role, but also staying back. I think it does suit him quite well, being a bit of a quarterback. In the build-up, in a bit of a Trent kind of role, a bit more inverted, a bit narrower as well. I think it suits him quite a lot. So I think it was good, really good yesterday.
Sending off, though, happens at, 1-0? It happened
at 2-0.
At 2-0, sorry. Brennan Johnson gets sent off. So he slides in, studs are up. But I just thought it was incredibly harsh to change that from a yellow to a red. It's like, you look at it, he's sliding, doesn't seem like there's much pace on his slide. And the player just kind of it takes into his stride, and then he kind of, it's like no intent there from Brennan Johnson whatsoever. I didn't think the ref had to change that.
Yeah, because when he first makes the challenge, the leg actually isn't there.
Yeah.
And then it kind of changes mid-challenge, and where he kind of takes a step in towards Brennan, and then all of a sudden, he's right in the line of Brennan's foot, and it looks awful when you look at the still image and that stuff. But you look at how the challenge happened as well. Brennan Johnson's foot kind of bounced off the ground and went into the back of his Achilles, but when he starts to challenge his leg, the Achilles isn't quite there. So it's very harsh. It's really unfortunate. I think the ending result of the challenge was quite a bad challenge. And I think, obviously, the Copenhagen's the player, his ankle does roll as well after the challenge from Brennan. So I can understand they felt it was a dangerous challenge, but I just think the circumstances that led to that happening, it's just really unfortunate for Brennan. I mean, it is a bit of a stupid challenge from Brennan, so it's hard to feel too much sympathy, because what is he doing anyway? Why is he sliding like that? I understand, even at 2-0, he's clearly, putting his all into the game, and he's trying to still be aggressive and keep our boot on the necks of Copenhagen. So I appreciate that. But in the middle of the pitch, there's really no need to do a sliding challenge like he did, especially when he's getting nowhere near the ball. So from that point, silly from him. But to upgrade it to a red, I thought was incredibly harsh. I feel bad from that point of view for him.
But look, it didn't make any sort of difference. And by the way, is Brendan out for the next 3 Champions League games? That's mad. Yeah, 3 Champions League games he's out for.
Dangerous play.
So he's out for the rest of the group stage?
Back for Frankfurt.
For the last game, yeah. Wow. So yeah, that's him out for the next 3 games. Bet and hope Kudus is going to be all right. But it did not impact us one bit. It actually made us get more aggressive and more dominant. And look, what happened. Arise, Sir Mickey. Arise, Mickey van der Bale. Arise, Son Heung van. Was it Son de Ven? Arise. What's the other one I heard? Mickey Villa. Oh my God, man! What a goal! Was that not just a carbon copy of Sonny against Burnley? Like, picks it up in the exact same position, kind of like the same line of run as well. It was just like, and the finish was even better than Son's, and it's just unbelievable. And like, Mickey van der Ven has threatened to do this on a couple of occasions, but this time he actually did it. Took it past 4, 5, 6 men, however many he took it past, and slotted it like he's bloody Harry Kane or Erling Haaland or something. It was just incredible.
It's a mad weapon to have in your armory, like a centre-back who can just cut through the opposition just like that, just with one run. And as you say, it's not the first time he's done it. The other 2 times he got assists, but this time he went one step further. And, you got to say as well, he's got incredible finishing ability. I think it goes under the radar. Some of the goals he scored with that left foot. You got to remember that goal, was it Forest he scored? Brilliant against Burnley.
The edge of the box where he scored, yeah.
Burnley curled it into the corner as well from the edge of the box. So
he used to be a striker.
Yeah, it goes under the radar. I mean, the way he was in full flight was reminiscent of Bale. It really was. With that, Bale used to kind of shrug people off and just have kind of no slowing down whatsoever. Even when you're getting near the box, he's not slowing down. He doesn't look like he's getting tired. Like, I wonder, like, so some part of me, I'm watching, I'm like, God, could this be like a Bale reincarnation? Like, is it wrong for this guy with that kind of physical capability to be a centre-back? Like, should we be using those capabilities forward more when he's that kind of ability? But, look, I know, we all know Bale started as a left-back and moved to a winger, and not quite a centre-back, so it's very different. But when you've got that kind of physical ability and that kind of ability on your left foot as well, is he wasting a centre-back? Who knows? But it was absolutely incredible.
I mean, when he can do that from centre-back, then it's like an unbelievable tool to have. Maybe we should be playing at left-back. But look, it was just incredible, and the reaction in the stadium, the stadium just went absolutely balmy, man. It went off, man, in that stadium. The corporate section, the south stand, the north stand, the east stand, the west stand, the whole stadium went absolutely berserk when he scored that goal. You knew as soon as that went in, you witnessed something special, and you knew it's going to be a goal that's going to be replayed and replayed and replayed. One of the best, if not the best, goals a defender is ever going to score. It was just incredible. It really was.
I haven't got bored of watching it yet.
No, you're never going to. Have you ever got bored watching Sonny's goal against Burnley?
No. That was 6 years ago.
You know what I mean? You're never going to get bored of watching that goal, and you're going to see that a hell of a lot. You know, it's going to be replayed everywhere. And, you know, he's got to get the... If Sonny wins the Puskas for that Burnley goal, like, he's got to win the Puskas for that.
Well, he's front runner, that's for sure. I can't think of too many goals better than that so far this year. So I think that has got to be it. Yeah, I think just give it to him now. No need for any of the nominations and all 100%. That rubbish. Just give it to him.
100%. It was just incredible. And then a few minutes later, I'm there and I'm like, what's Romero doing up there? Like, we're winning 3-0. What's he doing in the opposition box? Squares it to João Palhinha. And João Palhinha, what is that? His third or fourth goal of the season as well. So you've got Mickey van der Ven, who scored 6 goals in all competitions. You've got João Palhinha, who scored 4 goals now in all competitions. What is the world coming to, man? Like, how is Mickey on 6 goals?
Because someone has to step up and score, because our attackers don't seem to be doing it, albeit Brennan and Odegaard both did score in this game. But yeah, our defenders seem to be the ones providing the goals. Incredible. I mean, Mickey, he's getting close to 10 goals already.
Yeah.
He's getting close to double digits. He's on par with some of the better strikers in the league, which is insane.
Gyökeres is on 6 goals.
It's madness, absolute madness. So, Mickey, I'm saying, put him up front. Put Mickey up front. We don't need him at the back.
I think he's got more goals than our whole forward line combined, hasn't he? Richarlison's got 3, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, Brendan's got 4 in all comps.
Oh, Brendan's got 4. So yeah, no, he doesn't then. So, but still, just incredible stuff from Mickey van der Ven, pure legend, man, for that goal. And
also on Romero's pass, I've watched it back. Actually, a lot more difficult pass.
Oh, 100%, very good pass. Yeah,
like. Like on the first viewing, it looks like a simple square, but if you actually watch it back, he has to squeeze it in between 2 defenders on his weaker foot as well, and he kind of drills it into Paulinho. It's a brilliant pass, and good finish from Paulinho as well. But we didn't stop there, did we? We were late on, kept going. Obviously, Richarlison comes on, hits the bar, and Scarlett came on with a really good cameo, I felt.
You know what? Scarlett, I feel like the last few times he's played, he always puts in a big shift when he comes on. Even at last season when we saw him come on a few times, like, I really like Dane Scarlett, and I think he should be given more of an opportunity than what he's been given at this moment in time. And he came on, he won that penalty. Well done to him. I saw a bit of the discourse on it on the fan show yesterday. I mean, I thought it was a bit over the top on Richarlison taking the penalty and not Dane Scarlett, because first of all, Richarlison would have been the named penalty taker on the pitch. And second of all, like, yes, Richarlison could have done a nice thing and given it to Dane Scarlett, but at the end of the day, Richarlison is also dealing with his confidence issues at the moment, and he needs a goal as well, and he's one of the senior players in the team, and he desperately needs his goal. Because I understand completely why Richarlison took the penalty, albeit I would have preferred Dane to take it, but I don't think it's like this big disgrace that everyone's talking about.
No, I don't think I think it's definitely blown out of proportion, but when Dane won the penalty, I shouted on the watch on, Richarlison, don't you dare go and get that ball, because I was desperate for Dane to take it, because it's probably going to be the last opportunity for him to score a Champions League goal for Tottenham, or even a goal for Tottenham, because he could be out the door soon, and it'll be nice for him to have that moment, potentially one more opportunity to do. He's not going to get too many opportunities, I envisage, in a Tottenham
shirt. He should, though. He should be getting more opportunities, in my opinion. Like, why not?
That's fine, but at the end of the day, we have 3 strikers here. Solanke's going to be back fit soon, so he's not even going to be making the bench soon. So it's the time is running out for him. That's the reality.
Give him the opportunities over Richarlison, man. Richarlison is just playing so bad at the moment, man.
Look, okay, but I don't think he will. And that's just reality, in my opinion. No, Rishi came on, hit the bar twice. Like, he was a nuisance as well. But he was also quite frustrating, I have to say. But it's interesting, the reaction to Rishi missing chances compared to Moani missing chances, quite different. But
yeah, because Moani actually impacted the game really well when he played. Like, first of all, he bought that the goal that we scored that he got the assist from. Like, that was really good play from him, and the way he took it down and laid it on. Like, Moani did good things in the game. I think Richarlison, he got in the right places at the right time. But it's just, with Richarlison, when's the last time we watched Richarlison play and by the end of it we're not just so fed up and frustrated with his display? That's the problem with him.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot of it is perception, in my opinion. I understand he's not in the best form, But I also think he does good things and doesn't get credit for it because he misses some chances. Whereas when Moani's like having, like he's not been fully fit the last few games, but he's having some quiet games, yet he's getting praise because people are being less harsh on him because he's just come into the team. Whereas Richarlison has similar performances and we're just fed up with him and we're just like ready to... And then
Yeah,
yesterday,
because we've seen years of it.
Okay, but I'm just saying there's a lot of his perception rather than necessarily what we're doing, what he's seeing on the pitch. I thought he came on and did make a nuisance of himself and did have some good moments. And I thought the header, which he hit the bar was a good moment from him. It wasn't a free header. He had to beat a defender to it, and it was unfortunate. It hits the underside of the bar. And then obviously he does miss the penalty, but I thought he came on and did make a bit of a nuisance of himself. But because there's a negative feeling about Rishi and not Moani. Moani, we brush off his missed chances and then we're critical of Rishi for missing chances. I just feel like I'm not critical of either. I think they both, made nuisance of themselves, and they both should have probably scored a goal yesterday, and that's unfortunate. But yeah, look, in terms of Dane, really, I was really annoyed he didn't take the penalty. And as I say, like, who knows if he had another opportunity to score a goal in the Champions League for Tottenham?
Well, hopefully that opportunity comes against Slavia Prague, because I think he deserves it, man.
I just don't know if it will. If Solanke's fit, we're going to have Solanke, Moani, and Rishi all fit. Where is he going to be in the squad?
Yeah, which is a fair point, but like I said, like he does seem to make an impact the majority of times he's come on. The last 3 or 4 appearances that he made, like the last time was last night, obviously made an impact. Time before that was Elfsborg, made an impact, scored a goal. Time before that I think was Ipswich away, came on, grabbed an assist. Like he's made an impact for the majority of times he's had appearances at Spurs. He's a good player, man.
And there was a good trick for the... I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying I don't know if he will. He's a good trick for the penalty as well.
Would you not prefer to see him get the opportunities over Richarlison now? And if not, why not?
I think Rishi's a better player.
Like you could say he's a better player. Obviously, he's like because he's much further on in his career. But
of course, I want to see Dane do well. So if he deserves it. If Frank feels he deserves it, I just don't know if Frank will give him that opportunity because Rishi is still a player who's a better player right now. So he's always going to go with Rishi over Scarlett. I'd love to see Scarlett prove he's a better player than Rishi and maybe, get those opportunities, but I just don't see that happening.
You never know. I think if Richarlison keeps putting in these performances, there's no reason why Dane shouldn't go above him in the pecking order.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the reality. And if Dane makes impacts every time he comes on the pitch, then why not?
Mm-hmm. Well, if Dane played like Rishi came on, he would also say he also made an impact. You know what I mean? I'm saying Rishi did make an impact when he came on.
I mean, he got himself in a good opportunity for a couple of, for a free header, which he should have done better from.
Some free kicks. His hold-up play was all right as well. And it wasn't a free header. He had to beat a defender to it. Would Scarlett have beaten the defender to it if he was in that position? I don't know. There was a couple of times, I have to say, he got in Scarlett's way. There was one moment, Porro plays a ball in, and Scarlett's literally ready there, waiting to head it home. And Rishi got a flick on it just before him. That was frustrating. And also, Scarlett played one into him, and... his touch, he couldn't get out of his feet in the box as well. Look, I think Scarlett did well when he came on. This isn't about denigrating Scarlett. I think it was a really good cameo. I just think they both made an impact when they came on.
He should be rewarded for the impact that he made, Scarlett, and he should be considered for getting more minutes, in my opinion. And like I said, the last couple of appearances, and he always kind of makes this impact, then you don't see him again for ages. Like. If it's his last chance saloon at Tottenham, let's give him a fair crack at the whip.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I just don't know if it'll happen. I think if you're hoping for that, like you're setting yourself up to be disappointed, probably.
Yeah, well, you also said that about Spurs scoring a lot of goals last night, and we did.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that.
So, look, you never know what can happen. But I just think he deserves it, man, in my opinion. And I think he had a massive impact in the game yesterday. Would have been nice to see him take the penalty, but it wasn't to be. Let's hope he gets those chances against Slavia Prague. But, Also, like with Solanke coming back after the international break, we don't know how long it's going to take him to get back to real match fitness as well. So we don't know when we're going to start seeing him like regularly being able to contribute. But you do expect him to come off the bench and get some minutes there. So look, in my opinion, right now, I think Scarlett should be getting minutes ahead of Richarlison, in my opinion. But
so you want him in the rotation, like in the Premier League, like.
I would like to see him given a chance.
We're rotating Moani and Richarlison at the moment. You think we should be rotating Scarlett and Moani instead?
Yeah, I would.
I think you one start for Scarlett in the Premier League and you'll be like, okay, get Richie back, I reckon.
Maybe, but you won't know until we try it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that was 4-0 to Tottenham in the Champions League. You know, 2 games a week they're saying we can't do, and this time we didn't do it in the Premier League, but we did it in the Champions League, and we're sitting, I think, 7th in the group phase with a whole bunch of fixtures to happen tonight, which you know, it sets us up nicely to go away to PSG. I guess, you know, you would say it's probably a give me loss in that game, but you never know what can happen.
Yeah,
you never know what can happen.
Play 3 at the back.
I'll definitely play a 3-5-2 in that game. I think it's tried and tested, so why not?
And we saw although PSG in that game, you know, they were clearly lacking in sharpness because they just come back from their break. But they haven't been scintillating so far.
They should have got more out of the game last night, though.
Well, they were, yeah, but you know, they were playing 10 men for a lot of it, weren't they? So, no, you never know. You never know what Frank can do in these games.
Yeah, we say that. I mean, they are sitting 3rd in the Champions League group phase. PSG
should be top.
Yeah. So I mean, you're looking at it. In our final games, we got PSG who are 3rd. We played Dortmund who are 8th, Frankfurt who are 20th, and then Slavia Prague who are 30th. So, do you think if we could go to Frankfurt and win, beat Slavia Prague, does that give us a good chance of finishing in the top 8?
For sure. Look, at the end of the day, what was it? 8 points. We're on
8 points. Yeah.
You need minimum. Just to give yourself a chance of getting in that top 8, you need 15. So 7 points from the next 4. Is that possible to give yourself a chance? Why not?
Yeah, look, Slavia Prague's got to be a given, a 3 point. Not, you know, we should be winning that game. Borussia Dortmund at home. It's going to be a very difficult game. Dortmund are doing very well this season, but I think we could get a draw out of it. Frankfurt away. You know, we've shown we can go there and win. I think we can go there and win. That's already 7 points.
Wherever we get our PSG, we get.
Yeah, and whatever, PSG's... I wouldn't say it's a free hit, but it kind of is a free hit.
Last season, you did need 16, but I think in the Europa League, it was 15. So, look, I think 15 is like the bare minimum. That gives yourself a chance. If you're like one guaranteed in there, you probably need like 17, I would say, to like really say, yeah, we're going to be in that top 8. But I think... 15, if you can aim for 15, at least you're either going to be that top 8 or you're going to be the upper echelons of the top 24, which means you're going to face a team that was low down in the playoff anyway. So you want to, I think 15 points has to be the aim. And I think that's achievable. I think it's achievable. It's not going to be easy, but, you know, we've given ourselves a fighting chance after the win yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy Spurs fans after that. But look, in terms of like, turning the corner in terms of our gameplay, I think you can take from the game like saying we performed very well, but I don't think you can make the real judgment until at least after this Manchester United game. Like if we play like that against Man United and wipe the floor with them and have a really convincing win against Man United and create chance after chance like we did yesterday, I think then you know, a lot of Spurs fans will get very excited.
Yeah, I think we have to see in the Premier League. That's just a barefaced fact. Even anyone, you know, we played Wolves at home and didn't barely create, struggle to create chances. So I think we just have to see it in the Premier League. Obviously, we want to see it on Saturday against Man United. We want to see it consistently. That's when you can say we've turned a corner in that sense. And also, I don't like the use of turning the corner because, you know, in terms of how we're doing in general, results-wise, all that kind of stuff, it's like, we're not doing bad, so it's not like we need to turn the corner to improve results. But yes, performance-wise, things do need to improve.
No, but there's been a lot of complaints from a lot of people about the way we're playing our football.
Yes.
And this was kind of very different to the way we've managed games all season.
Yes.
So it's turning a corner in that sense.
Yeah, but when I agree with you, but the term turning the corner is usually like when a team is really struggling for and losing games. Then okay, they've won this game. This is a turning. The
Yeah, but that's not the way it's used here.
I understand that. I'm just saying in general that's how it's used.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like using it here, because it gives a false impression like this is a team really struggling and this is now turning a corner for the team. But yes, is it a move forward when it comes to attacking wise and our offensive play? And that's what I think the term I would use for this one, a step forward. But we have to see it in the Premier League, because it's all well and good doing it against Copenhagen. I'm not saying it's easy to do it. I'm just saying it's a lot easier to do against Copenhagen than it is against Premier League teams. And that's the truth. So,
and let's go see it against Manchester United this weekend, guys. Let's go see it. And do you think we will?
The only thing about Man United is they're in good form. They play a 5 at the back as well, which is a system which we have struggled with against so far. So I don't know, but yeah, I hope so. Do I think we will? Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot better than Chelsea. Put it that way.
It's going to have to be, because it can't get much worse than Chelsea. Chelsea was like the bottom of the pit, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I do wonder whether he sees a change of formation against United. Does he then also change it slightly in our build-up to counteract that, or does he go with the same of what we're doing? Because, with Cunha and Buemo potentially running on a back three, which we're building up with, could be bad, but I don't know.
Yeah. They've got some forward players that are on banging form, aren't they? With Cunha and Buemo. Even Sesko's looking decent as well up front.
I also feel that if they play Ahmad wing back against us with a doggy, how he plays for us, that could be really good for us. Because if a doggy can pen him back, or even if he doesn't pen him back, if he doesn't track him back, that could be a real good source of joy for us down that left-hand side. But anyway, this isn't a preview for the United game. But I think fans are going to be happy with what they saw yesterday, and they're going to be happy with the attacking display.
Yeah.
But it's about, are you capable of doing that against better opposition? That's the question.
Yep, and that's the next question that needs to be answered, and it's going to be answered this weekend, whether it's positive or negative. So we'll see what happens. But I think the whole stadium were buzzing yesterday. We saw something really, really special in that Mickey van der Ven goal, and a lot of things just seemed to come together yesterday. And, like I said before, we've played kind of lesser opposition and not had such a convincing display as we did yesterday. And you've got to say, Copenhagen are probably 3 times a team that a team like Doncaster is. And I know we won that game 3-0, but we looked a lot better in this one. So let's hope this is the first step forward in terms of what we all want to see in terms of an attacking setup from Tottenham Hotspur.
In terms of fans, just a quick one on the fans though. We saw Copenhagen yesterday.
Yeah.
They were, their fans non-stop chanting, even at 4-0, non-stop chanting. Now, that's the kind of support, obviously, we're looking for, aren't we?
In the vlog, I don't know if you saw it, but I recorded their fans at 4-0 down, and they were just going absolutely mental, jumping up and down, all in synchronization and whatever. And I said it on the vlog, they're 4-0 down and still completely supporting their team. We can learn a lot from that.
We can, but do you ever see a situation where we're 4-0 down and doing that? Ever?
Maybe if we're down to 9 men and we're playing everyone on the halfway line.
Yeah, true. Maybe. Just it was. I thought that was what I was saying before, after the Chelsea game. There's a culture in Europe, even around Europe, that's lost in the Premier League. For that kind of support, it doesn't matter what the situation of the game is. But I feel I think we're never going to have that kind of support at Tottenham, unfortunately.
Or any big team in the Premier League.
No, exactly, yeah.
So it is what it is. That's unfortunately, I call for fans to support the club, but even at 4-0, if we were losing 4-0 in the Champions League, I don't think I'll be jumping up and down and screaming. But look, it's commendable. It's commendable to the Copenhagen fans. But look, that's our match review. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.